Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 39. 39 episodes have been recorded. That is absolutely insane. It's only just hit me actually that we've done 39 episodes. That's quite a lot of them. It only seems like yesterday when we actually started this season of Hermitcraft. I remember packing everything up, getting everything finished on the previous season of Hermitcraft, making sure that I tied up loose ends, and then I remember getting started on this season. We're in the amplified world. I was struggling a little bit, didn't really know how to do things, was struggling to get started, and I remember building the balloon. I mean, that was episode 4, and that seems so recent. It really is strange to think that we are now nearing 50 episodes, and it feels like I'm just getting started on the server, which is a good position to be in. It means that we've still got plenty of projects to do, and loads of things that we want to work on, but I just thought I'd bring that up, because it seems like this is all flown by extremely quickly. But anyway, today, we have got some things to show you, okay? If we just walk over here, you can see this pressure plate here, stand on it, the 3x3 door opens, and here we are. Now, I haven't actually seen this for a little while. I built this in the live stream on Monday evening. I'm now recording this on Wednesday afternoon, so I haven't seen this for a couple of days, and I'm actually quite happy with it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's a nice little area. Basically, the idea is that we're going for the snow cave. This is meant to look like a little snow cave, like we've mined it out with our bare hands, or ice picks, or whatever you could call it. So that is what it's meant to look like. It's meant to look relatively industrial, with the struts going up here that are holding up all of this snow. Then we have the ice on the roof, a few icicles dangling down, a few little light sources dropped in for good measure. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I mean, there is a bit of a contrast. We do have a cactus in the middle of the room, which doesn't really make much sense in the rest of this, but I quite like this little area. Let me know what you think to it down in the comment section. But for today's episode, we aren't actually going to be doing any work up here for now. This place is done. I'll read through all of your comments, your responses to what you think to it, and then I'll make changes if they are necessary. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff, both in the Mumbo Jumbo and also on the outside, and I'll get onto that in a little bit. But first off, let's hit this button here and drop down to the bottom, because we have got a little bit of work to do. As you can see, the mine shaft that we have here, it's looking a little bit shabby, isn't it? It's not looking particularly brilliant. We have this lovely elevator that goes right the way down to the bottom, and then we enter this place, which isn't looking anywhere near as good. So we're going to be doing some decorating to start things off. We're going to get the ball rolling in terms of our strip mine. So I'm going to gather up some resources, and then I'll catch you guys in a little bit. A sheep seems to have hijacked my minecart. It's a little bit bizarre. I don't actually know how he's got there, but be free! Be free! I'm now picking up my first set of lighting supplies, and of course that means heading over to SUBCRIBE base to pick up a few sea lanterns. And as always, when I'm over here, I feel the need to mention that if you haven't seen SUBCRIBE base, you really are missing out, because it's an incredible area, and I'll put a link to his world tour down in the description, because it really is worth a watch. Now for my second set of lighting, we are over at the quad witch hut that was built by Exuma, Tango, Impulse, and I. We all built separate huts. This is the central hub area where all of the items flow to, and I do believe that this is filling up rather nicely. As you can see, we've got quite a large quantity of glowstone there, and of course we have a fairly large quantity of all the other items as well. I do believe, though, that glowstone is probably one of the most popular resources from this one. Finally, we are making some progress now. I'm just in the process of actually creating our mine shaft whilst clearing out this area here, and for those of you who caught it, you might have noticed that we are using a relatively familiar design. If I just spin it around here, we are going to be going for this old chestnut. Basically what we do is we have the stone here, then we have just these bands of stone slabs with these sea lanterns in the middle. It usually ends up looking pretty decent, as you can see from this area, but this is where our mine shafts are going to be traveling off from. So we'll have one here, then a 2 wide gap, then one here, then we'll have a 3 wide gap, we'll have another one here, and then a 2 wide gap, and then we will have another one here. And I'm just prepping up to place in another band. But the main problem about doing this design here is that you get so much rubbish in all of the walls. All of this dirt, all of these ores and things, they're really frustrating, because you have to replace them with the stone to make the whole thing look good. It's like the Great Rail project all over again, but generally speaking, it ends up looking really quite nice. So I'm going to continue working on this one, and then I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Progress time. I have managed to mine out the entire area. We have also done a bunch of decorating, so now the strip mine is pretty much complete. And I know what you're thinking. Are you going to do any form of automatic mining system? Are you going to have an automatic transportation of items? At the minute, No, we aren't going to be doing anything like that in today's episode. We're not going to be doing any form of automatic mining. However, that might come later on in the series. The problem is that whenever I do an automatic mining system, I always set it up so that the item drops end up in a separate storage system. Now, this is not particularly smart because I always chuck my items into the automatic mining system and then completely forget about them. They're left in that alternate storage system and I never ever find them again. So eventually, when I create my entire storage system that is going to store all of my items, it's going to sort them all, it's going to do all that sort of stuff. Once I create that, maybe we will look into the idea of creating an automatic mining system that will take those items up into the full-on sorting system and then it will all be working like a charm. But anyway, this place here is not quite done yet. There is a couple things I want to do, and I think this is quite a cool idea. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add doors for all of our little strip mines. That's just to stop any mobs from coming in, but also above them I'm going to add some redstone lamps. Now what I can do then is turn on the redstone lamp if I feel like that mine is done. Perhaps I've gone really far off into the distance and I don't want to waste my time getting there, but I can leave it off if I still think there is mining to be done there. I think it's a cool idea and it should work quite nicely. So we only have a couple bits left to do now. We have got 3 more levers to place down, so I'll quickly chuck those down there. And also we have a couple more iron doors to place. But as you can see, you got a brief sneak preview there. I have made a slight change to design. Let's spin it round, and as you can see, it's a little bit mental asylum-y. It is a little bit prison-like. I think that has something to do with the iron doors that we have going on. I mean, strip mines, they're not meant to look particularly glamorous, but yeah, it definitely does have the prison vibe, but it definitely works, okay? It's a functional strip mine, it's got some cool little bits and bobs occurring, and I'll quickly run those through with you. So as you can see, we have got all of the redstone lamps above all of the doors, and say for example, I go thousands and thousands of blocks in this direction, going down this single strip. I go absolutely off into the distance, I come back, I've gathered up loads of diamonds. Because I've gone so far away, there really is no point in me using this strip mine again. I mean, seriously, I'll have to travel thousands of blocks before I actually get to a point in which I can start mining. So, in that situation, just go up here, flick the lever, the redstone lamp turns on, and we have got ourselves a done strip mine. I'll look at that and I'll go, hey, you know what? I'm not going to travel down there because it's going to involve walking for ages, and that seems a little bit silly. So we'll move on to this one. Once that's done, flick the lever. Once this one's done, flick the lever here, and so on and so forth until we fill up all of these mines here. We'll be able to tell which ones have been completed and which ones haven't. And when they are all lit up, when we have done all of the mines, I suppose we will have to expand out our strip mine system. But that is the idea, and in theory, it should work really quite nicely. So I think enough is enough. I am done working on the strip mine. I've worked on it for a couple of hours today, and of course in the previous episode we dedicated an entire episode to sorting all of that out. So for now, we are going to be moving on to a slightly different project. This one is a little bit strange, but it's been driving me mad, okay? It really has been driving me mad. As you guys know, I have pretty much been living over in this area here. I haven't actually been living on the inside of my base. That is simply because we are yet to have a space to store all of my items. Well, I would love to say that that is going to be changing, but of course there is tons of planning to do for that, as I want to have a really awesome fully automatic sorting system, and as I say, that involves quite a lot of planning. So instead what we are going to do is we are going to make a home away from home. This is the home, but we are going to create a temporary home over here with a half-decent storage system, a few essential bits, and things that I'm going to need in this area here so that I don't have to keep popping back to Hermit Hills, as that really is driving me around the bend. Well, I got some bad news, ladies and gentlemen. By the look of things, the sheep made its final journey. It doesn't seem to be here anymore. It looks like the little fella has disappeared. Now, as you guys know, generally speaking, I don't really like doing this sort of thing. I like to do my projects bit by bit and take you through each element on camera, but today I've decided to do something slightly different, and boom! It's done! We finished it! I announced it, and now it's finished. That's nice and easy, isn't it? The magic of editing. For you, that took around about 15 seconds. For me, I don't know how long it's taken me, but it's been a lot of fun, and we have managed to complete the entire thing relatively quickly. It's nothing too technical. There's no redstone bits happening here. We don't have any sorting systems or any other redstone machines or anything like that. It is just your bog standard, regular old storage system. We have a bunch of chests, all of which will be filled with items. As far as the decoration is concerned, actually pretty happy with this place. We just have a little bit of wood, we have a little bit more wood, and then a little bit of stone. Where else would we be if we didn't have stone slabs in the build? And a little bit of redstone lighting as well. I quite like the way that this looks. I really do like redstone lamps, and I'm very glad that we have the witch farm, because now I can gather up glowstone without having to go into the nether, which, as you guys know, I really don't like very much. But of course, having this many chests, it is absolutely pointless if we do not sort all of it out. Otherwise, we will end up with a big mess like we have going on over here, where all of the items are in all the chests, and that just doesn't work particularly well. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to sort out this area here into various different segments. We're going to have cobblestone chests, dirt chests, all those sorts of chests, so that we can sort out all the items and get ourselves nice and organized. The good news is, I found my sheep. He was travelling along the Great Rail, happy as Larry. The bad news is, he was travelling the opposite direction to me, which of course means that we collided, and now I am without a minecart. My minecart travelled off in the opposite direction in which I wanted to go, and that means that sadly, I now have to walk the Great Rail, and the Great Rail is pretty great. This is going to take forever. So I'm just in the process of crafting up the final item frames here, and I just want to say something. Item frames are ridiculously expensive. I have been AFK for around about the past hour over at the cow farm, and although I didn't use a looting sword, because obviously that's quite hard to get and there doesn't seem to be a looting sword there anymore, I got 35 bits of leather. 35. That is how many I got, which means I can only make 35 item frames, which thankfully looks like it is going to be just about enough. In fact, all of these chests here are going to be for separate items, so just about, with one left, we have managed to do all of the chests here. But I have to say, that is absolutely obscene how many items it takes to make just one item frame. But anyway, that's enough complaining, because I've got some explaining to do. This is the storage area. This is how we are going to be arranging it. So here we go. We have got cobblestone and stone, and we have got dirt, and then we have all the other types, a bit like what we have in the silo down underneath. And then all of these things, these are 4 separate sets of items. So for example, this could be iron, then we could have snow, and then we could have glass, then we could have compressed ice. All of the things that are essential to the base, those are all going to be going there. This is like the important section of the storage area. Then this is going to be your general use bits, the things that are used relatively often, but not ridiculously often. And that is going to be all the general resources. Then over here, this is going to be all the precious stuff. So we're going to have diamond, emeralds, redstone, gold, lapis, coal, and then all of the other good stuff that goes down at the bottom here. Haven't really got an idea of what those are going to be just yet, but I'm sure I'll be able to think of something. But I have to say, it's probably going to take some time to work out what has to go where. So you know what? I think I'm going to time-lapse the whole organization process. Now I know that might have seemed just a little bit silly, time-lapsing me just placing items in item frames, but you have to think that these sorts of things are actually a little bit harder to organize than you first imagine. I mean, you want to get things in groups, you want to make sure that things are in order. Originally I was considering doing an alphabetical order, but obviously that would be just a little bit silly, so instead I tried to group the items in what I thought were half-decent groups. So let me do some explaining. Obviously, first off, we have our most used items, or not necessarily the most used items, but definitely the most stored. We have loads of cobblestone, loads of dirt, and loads of granite, and of course we do have all of the storage silos for that in the center of the base, but for now, I want some on hand for while we're working in here. But also, we have all of the supplies for building the base. So that is things like iron, snow, stone slabs, we've got sea lanterns, we have glass, and we have got all different types of sandstone. Then we have wooden logs, and then pieces of wood. It doesn't have to be spruce, it is just all the types of wood and all the types of logs. Then we have the leaves, and then various miscellaneous wood items, for example fence posts, chests, obviously stairs, slabs, all that sort of stuff can go in that chest. Then we have redstone. So this is just redstone dust and redstone blocks. This is for things like redstone torches, tripwire hooks, and all that sort of thing. Then this is for repeaters, comparators, that sort of stuff. This is of course for rails, so all different types of rails. Then we have hoppers and droppers and dispensers can go in there. Then this is going to be netherrack and soul sand. That's nether quartz obviously. Then we have gravel and glowstone. Then we have slime balls and slime blocks. Ender pearls, because of course we are going to end up with quite a few of those once I actually start gathering them up. Then any form of vegetation, that could be carrots, potatoes, wheat, bread, that sort of thing. Saplings, all types of meat, so that includes beef. And then we have a leather chest. I didn't really know what to do here, so that might end up being changed. Then over here we have got sand and also hardened clay. That includes wool as well. For our precious items, it's pretty simple. We have got diamond, coal, lapis, iron, gold, and then pickaxes, shovels, axes, and swords. That's pretty much it. These last three here, down at the bottom, these are just for miscellaneous items, things I just want to chuck in chests and not have to worry about them. So that is the system. That is the way that we're going to be storing items from now on. So now we have got to transfer all of the items from those chests over there into this area over here. Oh, it's going to be such a rubbish job, but it's worth doing. One mind-numbingly boring 45 minutes later, and it has been done. 12 double chests of items have been transferred from over there into this storage area here. Or at least they almost have been. There's a few little bits left to do. I'll rotate this redstone back around. We have got one dandelion to put inside this chest right here. We have got a few buttons. Those can go in the repeater chest. We've got an iron door. I suppose that goes in with iron resources. We have torches. They go in with the coal. And finally, we have got sandstone slabs. Those go in with the rest of the sandstone. Now, let me grab my axe. And let's just head out here over to my chest. And hopefully, I've actually taken out all of the items from here. Yep, that one is gone. So let's remove that. That one is gone as well. That one's gone. That one's gone. That one is gone. Right, all of those are gone. Yep, there's none in there. None in this one, really. There's a few odd bits and bobs in some of these where I've just decided, you know what? Can't be bothered to sort that one out. There's a few items in there. Let's give it a once over. Don't really need any of this stuff. I'll grab some of it, though. We'll grab that gold. Obsidian, that's always handy to have. Alright, so we're not quite finished, but we're almost there. That clay as well. And those. And we might as well grab the rest, to be quite frankly honest with you. That sword. We don't need that sword. Right, we can take this one out. This one here. Oh, I thought I heard a creeper then. But it looks like we pretty much have all of the items. So I'm going to do a once over once again. I'll take out all of these chests around here. Basically clear up this area so that it looks nice and presentable. And then we will be back to the storage. One thing that I've discovered from this entire experience of transferring items and things is that I have got a ton of junk that I never ever use. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick redstone project, the first one of today's episode. We have done absolutely no redstone today, which is very out of character indeed. But we're going to be creating a garbage can, or a rubbish bin if you come from the UK. So, here we go. Dropper goes down like that, and then we'll place the hopper on top, and we have a trap chest on top of here, and that will allow us to chuck items in without them falling down into the hopper. It's a cool little maneuver that you can do if you're building redstone contraptions like that. But anyway, this is a very simple circuit. You have seen me build this multiple times before, so we're going to need some blocks, and that is going to be nice and easy because now I know exactly where my blocks are. Oh, we don't actually have any iron blocks though, so I suppose we're going to have to use cobblestone. It's not quite as good as my regular iron blocks that I tend to use when I'm doing my redstone, but it will have to do. So right, we'll take out this area here, just need a little bit extra space. Hopefully this should be enough. And then we're going to run the comparator out into some redstone. I'm so happy that I've decided to do this. All of these items were found in milliseconds, okay? I just looked in the chest and I was like, right, that's that. Good stuff. Okay, so the repeater needs to come out like that. And then that will run into the redstone dust. And we have got our comparator in subtract mode. Then we need the redstone dust on top of there. And there we have it. We have got ourselves a dropper. Now, one thing that I am actually thinking is we can point the dropper in this direction. Then perhaps what we could do is we could actually fire all of the items out onto a cactus. That might be a good idea. That will stop there being loads of loose items out and about. So if we take out all of these blocks around here, I suppose cactus are a little bit annoying to place, but we should be able to do it just fine. So that cactus goes there, and then all of our items will be shot out on top of that thing, and we shouldn't really have a problem. The cactus growing, is that going to be a problem? No, because it will grow up next to this dropper, and that means it will pop straight off and probably land on itself, meaning that it will break itself. Okay, so that is fine and dandy. We'll just replace all those blocks. We'll grab ourselves some dirt from the dirt chest, and we'll cover up that little hole. So now we have ourselves a rubbish bin. Let's give this a real quick tester. We'll cover all of this up. Right, I want to chuck out, say, some of this dirt. Right, so we throw it in there, and it should be fired out by our dropper onto the cactus. So when we remove this block here, we should find that there is no dirt out and about. Let's take a look. Yes, it appears to have worked. So we've now got ourselves a rubbish bin. That means that we can throw away all of our junk. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That rounds up today's episode on Hermitcraft. I'm a little bit confused about this one, and not necessarily a little bit upset about this episode, but I have put a ton of work into this episode. I have put so many hours in, and when I'm watching back the footage just then, because I was just watching back all the footage, I get the impression that it doesn't look like much. It doesn't really look like much, which is a little bit strange, because of course we did the strip mine, and then we've obviously built this storage area, but I feel like there's been quite a lot of admin tasks, things that I have to do a little bit off camera because they're very, very boring. For example, transferring all the items and all that sort of thing. It's just the sort of stuff that doesn't make a very interesting episode. So I do apologize if you haven't found this episode quite as entertaining as some of the other ones. I do try my best, but occasionally you have to do admin ones like this one where you basically get everything done. But one cool thing about all of this is the fact that I have not logged off my entire time at recording this episode. So check it out. If we take a look in the chat, would you look at that? We have got all of the saved worlds here. These happen every 10 minutes, so it's quite cool to be able to see how long you've actually been playing. I'm sure some of you will be able to work it out. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I'll feel guilty about how long I've been playing Minecraft today, but I've enjoyed myself, even if we have had to do some of the slightly more boring tasks. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mambo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.